You said earlier to me today that you liked obscure content.
I do.
How obscure do you like?
So I can't say that I like seek out obscure content. I'm
Okay.
also not very good at like telling what is obscure because a lot of my interests are not super well populated to begin with.
You're valid.
Outside of what we will be discussing today.
Yes.
Probably. But I honestly, I'll take what I can get. I love to examine the cesspool. I generally I generally don't dip my feet in, so to speak, but
Okay. So
I like knowing what's going on.
okay.
I'm nebby.
You what?
I'm nebby.
You're never.
I'm nosy. I like to be in business, even
Okay.
if I'm not personally.
Okay. So I don't really know if my content is like the content I see is obscure. I find it obscure because if Amanda and I were to pull out our, like, for example, our TikTok For You pages.
Right.
And, the algorithm works in the way that it does. And it's going to give her unique content. It's going to give me unique content. The content that Amanda gets is nowhere near the weird garbage that I get. Now, I know Amanda's going to be listening to this episode.
Hi, Amanda.
Number one fan. She listens number two fan. Her mom is the number one fan. Who listens every week. And so she can tell me later if I'm wrong, okay? But I just feel like my compilation of content that the internet algorithm, my FBI agent, whoever it is like, you know who'd really like this? She would. Carly would. Is bonkers. So, recently I've been getting, I don't know what to call them. I think I call them just like, I don't even know if they're memes. But like
New age memes.
Proto
memes.
Yes. So recently, I got this. It was on my Instagram of all things, and it was a picture of Shania Twain.
A good start.
For one, it was a picture of Shania Twain, holding a chainsaw.
As she should.
And it says the Shania Twain Saw Massacre.
Oh my God. I support women's wrongs.
Right, I looked at this, I was like, I love feminism.
Icon, queen.
I love feminism, but I'm like looking through my Instagram likes, because usually like you'll like things and it's like, oh, you'd like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what did I like? What? I didn't like pictures of Shania Twain in the past week. I didn't like anything about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I'm like, what? This is it. There was no caption to this picture. There was no descriptor. Just, let's go, girls.
Let's go, girls.
And I'm like, what? I've been getting a lot of raccoon memes as well. A lot of raccoon memes. Earlier, I shared to like our little group chat of I'm not bi-curious, I'm bi-cursed. With the word art around it and everything. And again, I'm like, what? I didn't like pictures of raccoons. Like, where is this coming from?
I get a lot of those as well, but mine, a lot of it is like, prehistoric. Tends to be like crustaceans and cephalopods. Like, I was born in the wrong generation. And it's like, the fish entering land for the first time.
Yeah.
Prior to evolution. And I'm like, yeah, that is so true. I should have been a microorganism like several million years ago.
Like, I should have been a crab.
God, what I wouldn't give to be a crab.
Man, I want to know. Okay, I want to know if crabs have hobbies.
Oh, absolutely.
What kind of what kind of hobbies? What kind of hobbies?
So there are like a bajillion. Like, I'm not exaggerating this. There's like a bajillion technical number of like species of crabs. And they live in both like saltwater and freshwater. I was actually just recently looking into like species of crabs that live in Wales because I was I like
in Shark Tale.
not quite.
What there crabs that lived in the whale's teeth?
No, I mean like
What?
like Wales, like Scotland, United Kingdom, Wales.
Oh!
Wales, Wales. But I mean, I'm sure there's some of those too. There's bound to be
I'm
some.
over here like, oh my god, like the shrimp who eat the krill out the whale's teeth of Shark
Oh my
Tale, and
God,
you're like,
the-
England, bitch.
The gay shrimp / krill from Happy Feet.
Oh my god.
I think about them constantly.
Oh my. Anyways, from Wales, Princess of Wales, crabs.
But yeah, so there are crabs that like to like, carry around rocks. Sometimes they like to carry around rocks to like hit things.
Yeah.
But, crabs' minds are like an enigma to us.
Yeah.
Which is very sad because I would very much like to connect on a mental level with any crab.
Any crab.
Really. I mean, they like to scuttle. They like to go on little walks. They like to move.
I almost was like scuttle, like, oh, like the bird, like the bird from the Little Mermaid.
Bird from the Little Mermaid, Aquafina.
Aquafina. I can't
Christ.
believe that entire movie is just like I mean, obviously he's the talk of the town. The screenshot of Flounder is just
Miss Bailey, I love you,
yes.
but that fish is going to give children nightmares.
That fish. I mean, I'm surprised there isn't as much of an uproar about the fish looking ugly as much as there was when Sonic was ugly.
Yeah, but in all fairness, there are a lot more furries that are into Sonic than are into Flounder.
That's true. That is true. Because Flounder is a fish and Sonic has legs. They said that his legs. That's for me. But I just seeing discourse online and everything. I'm like, why? Like, everybody's complaining about Flounder being ugly.
I actually personally saw less argument about like what Flounder looks like as compared to complaints about how Ariel like physically handles Flounder in the movie. 'Cause, I mean, in the live action, she's just flopping Flounder around just like she does in the cartoon. And, children see movies and they're like, okay, so I can do that.
Yeah.
Like how, like Black Market Fish Trade, and Clownfish, like rose really badly, after like Finding Nemo came out. People were concerned that kids would see the Little Mermaid live action and think that they can do that with their pet fish, like hold them by the fins and like wiggle them around, which you can't do. You shouldn't do.
No.
Don't do that. Don't touch your fish like that.
No.
But that's what I saw mainly.
Okay.
I'm also like, I follow like a bajillion marine biology accounts pretty much everywhere because I like fish.
Yes. That's so interesting. The only big thing that I've seen is, I guess there's a clip of Scuttle talking to Ariel underwater, and somebody goes, "How do you get down there? How is he talking in the water?
Very carefully."
How did he get down there?" And I'm like, yeah, that's right. Like, I didn't even notice it was under the water until a clip, like the camera like kind of pans out, and you see Ariel and Flounder floating, and then you see Scuttle on a rock in the water at eye level, and we're like, wait a minute.
This is where a bird belongs.
And the way like Scuttle like flew in, it was just like, ooh, because it was when Ariel has the fork and it's like, ooh, what's this? And it's when Scuttle flies in and it's like, oh, that's supposed to like comb people's hair. And so and people are like, wait a minute, how did she get in there?
The math is not mathing.
Yeah. Math does not math.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I can understand, like, yeah, okay, birds can hold their breath for a pretty long time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, you know, marine area birds, like seagulls, ducks, of course.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's how they have to eat. But in all fairness, though, scientific accuracy, not at the forefront of this media, because there are not people fish,
right?
And also fish don't talk, and also birds don't talk. But well, most birds don't talk,
right? But canaries,
but you know,
canaries could. And speaking of canaries, hi everyone, welcome to the 19th inaugural episode of the Between the Bridges podcast. My name is Carly. Amanda is not here, obviously, due to the lack of Amanda. So today we have a special guest. Who are you?
I'm Raiden.
Raiden's our special guest today. Thank you so much for joining the podcast today. You are a wealth of knowledge of other intellectual properties. So, on other podcasts, our Noah, friend of the podcast, used to bring guests on, and they would have to be an expert in something.
Okay.
So, I feel like just this one time, I have to steal the bit from Noah, Jackson, and Dan of the Off the Air podcast and say that we officially, at the Between the Fridges podcast, have an expert in something. And that something is Yu-Gi-Oh! And earlier today, because Amanda was held up with stuff, and so we had put feelers out like, hey, if anybody's available to guest, it'd be amazing. If not, no worries. You had posted this long thing, just like, hey, here's my pitch. And I didn't want to read it. And it was not like, because I always feel like I have to like explain myself.
Right.
It was not a disrespect at all. I was like, if they are coming here and and co-hosting the podcast today, I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to give anything away to myself. And I just want to hear it raw, uncut. I want to hear everything. So I'm so excited. So before you tell me all of your lore and your theories and your hoop-diddy-hop-dahs, would you like to explain to the people what a Yu-Gi-Oh is? I know what Yu-Gi-Oh is.
Yu-Gi-Oh is a property of Konami.
Yes.
Not Nintendo. Konami.
Not Nintendo.
But that's, that's okay. That's
fine. Yeah. Didn't Konami make... No, they didn't. I almost said, did Konami make Spyro? They did not! They did not!
They did not, but, that is okay.
Yeah. So, Konami.
So, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is both a card game and a series of anime.
Yes.
They take place in, well, kind of Japan, I guess.
Okay. Japan adjacent.
Yeah, Japan adjacent.
Okay.
Basically, several, 1,000 years ago, okay, ancient Egypt. We are in ancient Egypt.
Yes.
The ostensible,
the pyramids.
Yeah. Pharaohs.
Yes.
Have shadow games.
Yes.
Basically like death games where they duel with spirits that they eventually locked in stone tablets.
Okay.
to, settle power disputes and just, for funsies,
Right.
I guess, as you do when you're in quote unquote ancient Egypt. Main character in the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, his name's Yugi.
Yes.
He's got a puzzle.
Yes.
Like a 3D fun little pyramid puzzle.
Yes.
That houses the spirit of a long dead ancient Egyptian pharaoh. So once he solved the puzzle, he started to share a brain and body with this 1,000 years dead, well, quote unquote dead, ancient Egyptian pharaoh.
Okay.
And his name is Atem, but before we learn his actual name, he's just called Yami, or like Yami Yugi, which is like dark Yugi.
Okay.
Because
he's got the deeper voice.
Yeah, and
so
also he kills people.
I forgot about that. I'm
so-
like, look at my sweet little baby girl, Yami Yugi. And then he's not just killing.
Yeah, so
I murder people, but you're so sweet.
so like in the manga, before it was a card game, it was just kind of a general like death game type situation. So
you lose, you die.
Yeah,
Squid
pretty
Game.
much.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's my question. I have to butt in with this question.
By all means.
So, ancient Egypt.
Right.
Pharaohs.
Right.
You know what else has ancient Egypt and pharaohs in it?
I definitely don't.
The Bible.
You're so right.
So my question.
Let my people go, etc., etc.
Let my people go. Blue Eyes White Dragon. My question is it canon in the Yu-Gi-Oh universe that the Bible happened? Because if so, did Moses save the people
Yes.
with Exodia the Forbidden One?
No.
Damn
no.
it!
Unfortunately, Moses was not in Yu-Gi-Oh lore.
Fine, then King Tut is.
I mean, basically.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
Um,
Anyways.
There's gay pharaohs in Yu-Gi-Oh GX. Just so you know.
Ooh.
At least one. There's at least one. And arguably, there are also gay pharaohs in original Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. But,
Everybody's gay.
that's what I'm here to argue today.
Oh, so, yes, before we do that. So, yes, Yami Yugi. And regular, like...
Yeah.
So, sweet young 10-year-old Yugi, 12, 14,
He's like 15.
15. He looks 10.
Yeah, he's like 3 feet tall.
Yes, slay. Love a short king. And Yami Yugi
Yes.
are together with the puzzle.
Yes.
And they play this shadow game
Yes.
that used to kill people.
Still technically kills people.
Oh, still
but
kills.
They don't call it that in the like English dub. They say they're going to the shadow realm.
Yes.
They're going to hell.
They're going to the shadow realm. Yes, that's where I'm sending you to the shadow realm comes from. Amazing. So, Yugi and his friends,
Send people to hell.
send people to hell.
Usually is the last resort.
See, so that means the Bible does exist because heaven's real in Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe. Guys, we've cracked the code. We've cracked the code. Heaven is for real. Watch
King
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Arthur is also canon in Yu-Gi-Oh!
How?
So technically,
Okay. Yes.
there are like Knights of the Round Table themed cards.
Yes.
And so all of the cards are dual spirits, right? Like I said, they got trapped in the stone tablets. The priests or whatever trapped them in the tablets. So we can only assume that eventually, at some point after ancient Egypt, probably King Arthur and all of his Knights of the Round Table were trapped in dual monster cards.
Oh my. No. Kaiba got that card.
There are also dogs.
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 Yeah, like Woof.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Are they in the carts?
Yes.
They locked dogs.
At least one. Actually numerous, but at least one.
They
Like at least one regular ass dog. Outstanding dog Marin.
Was he like a test subject? Like, ooh, let's see if you can trap him in the car.
I don't actually know because it's never really explained.
Okay, because I was gonna say, this is giving very Laika vibes. You know Laika?
Yeah.
For any of you who don't know who Laika is the Russian dog that the Russian space people took off the street because she was a little street dog, and then they put her in a spaceship because they were like, ooh, let's see how long somebody would live. Favorite rocket ship zooming through the sky,
and then
we
died.
die. No. So Laika went in a spaceship to see how long people would live, and they sent her up, and she never came back, and she died.
It was very sad.
Trigger warning for death. I'm really sorry that I did not put that in there before.
I feel like giving the trigger warning after the fact is...
Welcome to the Between the Fridges podcast, where I forget sometimes to put a trigger warning for death. My name is Carly.
Put it in the description. It's
My
fine.
name is Carly. This is the show. I think they're used to it at this point. I'm like, hey guys, spoilers. By the way, I already said the spoiler.
And in all fairness, I did say that Yami Yugi kills people. So
spoiler alert, guys. Yami Yugi kills people. It's okay. We said it now. That's what's important. So anyways, Yami Yugi, they kill people with their friends. And they have a great time and bonding experiences while doing it.
Except when they're being traumatized.
Where they possibly die. And maybe do.
Eventually. Spoilers for the final episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. Yami gets sent back to, heaven or whatever. He's going to hang out with all of his dead friends and loved ones. Except the ones that got trapped in Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards.
Yeah. Yeah, they just get to play forever.
They can have a little fun.
Yeah, they have a little bit of fun in Pegasus Land. They're like, wee!
I think you mean Kaiba Land.
Kaiba Land!
Seto Kaiba owns a series of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monster themed theme parks.
Doesn't he change the trajectory of his family's company? And instead of making, nuclear weapons?
Yeah, so... Seto Kaiba's adoptive father.
Yes. Mokuba's dad.
Mokuba Kaiba's also adopted father.
Oh.
He did have a non-adopted son.
Okay.
His name was Noah.
Oh.
Noah basically died, and he put his consciousness into a computer program.
Oh.
So now
Sorry
he's
for booing you, Noah.
alive forever. I actually love Noah Kaiba. He does a lot of really awful shit and traumatizes a whole lot of people and kills some people. But it's fine because he's just a little guy.
Yes.
Anyways, yeah, so Seto Kaiba's father, Gozaburo Kaiba, owned a weapons manufacturer. And Seto Kaiba staged a little coup. He kicked his father out of the company. He assumed the head position. He became CEO. And instead of making little military weapons, he made fun little cards. And fun little duel discs. And fun little theme parks.
No.
Actually, no, he didn't make cards because Maximilian Pegasus made cards. He was an archaeologist. He uncovered a bunch of stuff that he shouldn't have, just as archaeologists are wont to do. Right. But, yeah, so Seto Kaiba took over his father's weapons manufacturer and made a bunch of little theme parks. And also he made, the 3D simulation fields for, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels. Because in the very first episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, well... It's technically just called Yu-Gi-Oh! Whatever. But the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, very first episode, he beats Yugi's grandpa's ass.
He kicked his...
Into the hospital.
He kicked his ass to the hospital.
Via Duel Monsters. With his big, funky, 3D projection land.
Yes. Yes.
Not cool. Don't kill old people.
Right. He's like
but
the Roman Reigns of Yu-Gi-Oh.
I don't know who that is.
Roman Reigns. One confirmed autistic, one who knows. Roman Reigns is a WWE wrestler. And right now, he holds not one, but 2 titles. Okay? And because he beat this one person and he beat another person. And so now he has 2 belts. He has the heavyweight championships, the heavyweight championship and the universal title. Okay?
Seto Kaiba also has numerous belts.
Yes.
All over his person.
Yes. And yesterday, Roman Reigns went on TV and said his like cousins, he's like, you two couldn't win the tag team belts. Me and this other guy are going to do it in 2 weeks. So maybe he'll be Roman 4 belts. He'll probably have as many belts as Seto Kaiba.
Godspeed.
And everybody, it's just like everybody's like, oh, Roman Reigns, he's unstoppable. He's unbeatable. Seto Kaiba, he's unbeatable. He's unstoppable.
Well,
what?
As shown by the first episode of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Wrong.
He likes to think he's unbeatable.
Yeah.
But
so maybe he is
his
more like,
track record's not that good.
it's not like 1,000 days.
Yeah.
It's not 1,000 day belt holding streak. Okay. So maybe he's not like Roman Reigns, but that's okay.
But he's got belts, and he's autistic, and he's probably gay.
And has at least 3 confirmed Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Well, yeah, remember, because he ripped the 4th one in half.
He did, because he said, this bitch isn't going to beat me, even though he could have had it.
He says, you can't use this against me, and also, fuck you.
Yeah. Right in front of Grandpa.
Yep.
That Grandpa was about to have a heart attack and stroke at the same time when he ripped up that card. He's like, that was my friend's card. And Kai was like, I don't care.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
I love seeing you suffer, Grandpa. So, speaking of being gay, what is this? You have a theory.
I have many theories.
You have many theories. So they're all gay?
I would argue that the majority of like Yu-Gi-Oh characters, at the very least Yu-Gi-Oh like protagonists, are in fact queer in some capacity.
Yes.
Just based on like their Duel Monsters decks.
Okay. Lay out the dissertation. I may have questions, but lay out the dissertation.
So, Yu-Gi-Oh characters, there aren't very many female Yu-Gi-Oh characters.
No. It's like,
admittedly,
I would say at least the ones that I can think of are Taya, Mai, the blind sister. The what? The blind one. Right? She's blind.
no, but she could have been. She was for a little while.
Oh, I was about to be like, what? Did she lose her hearing? I know she was losing a sense. I just know her as the one who's going blind.
Her name's Serenity in the English dub.
Serenity,
She's
okay.
Joey's sister.
Yes. Taya, Mai, Serenity the blind one. That sounds like a Yu-Gi-Oh card in itself. I summon you, Serenity the blind one. Now, Dark Attack. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of. But I also have the first series of knowledge.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's maybe 3 more.
So in like original Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Monsters, there's Taya, there's my Valentine, there's Serenity.
Yes.
There is Ishizu,
Okay.
Ishtar, who is she shows up a little bit later.
Okay.
She's real wonderful, and I love her. There's, I think her name's Rachel in the English dub. She's this like 10-year-old child.
Okay.
That duels Yugi once, and also her grandfather was best friends with Yugi's grandfather, and stuff. She's like a child genius. She's really cool when she stops being a little bit annoying. Which, she's like an animated 10-year-old girl on a shonen anime, so it's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is what she is.
And unless you're counting, like, Dark Magician Girl, or, like, the character who became Dark Magician Girl, there's really not that many girls. And then in GX, there's, like, Alexis. There's, I think her name's like Camilla. She's a vampire and she's evil and she shows up like twice.
Okay.
There's Ray. Her name is Ray, and she shows up in like season 3 or no, she shows up in season 2 of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, I believe. And then I'm not actually familiar enough with Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds to like list all of the female characters, because watching Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds is physically painful. No offense to 5Ds. I just, if I wanted to look at a desolate military like hellscape police state, like neo-capitalist hell, I would just look outside. So yeah. But so all of like the female characters in Yu-Gi-Oh have decks that are like all girl monsters, pretty much.
Yeah. Because they really have to like make sure feminism.
So true. Yeah. Feminist icon My Valentine using fake like psychic powers to beat men in duels. Like I said, beginning of this episode, I support women's wrongs.
Yes.
I think she was right.
Yes. She was correct. Mine was correct.
But yeah, like I have a bunch of my Yu-Gi-Oh cards in front of me.
Yes.
And so like the Cyber Angels that I have on this page in front of me are the monsters that Alexis Rhodes, or Asuka Tenjuin in the Japanese version of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. These are the monsters she uses. So
okay.
Cyber 2-2, Etwell Cyber, Blade Skater, Cyber Prima, Cyber Angel, blah, blah, blah. Basically, they're all, like, woman-coded.
Yes.
Whereas most, like, basically all of the male characters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Have, I guess, like, quote, male-oriented, or, like, they don't really have girl monsters, like, monsters that are specifically coded as women.
Yes.
Unless, because Blue Eyes White Dragon technically was apparently, like, a woman, and then she became, like, the dragon dual monster. It's, the whole story is kind of, like, not great, because it's like the fridging that I mentioned, like when we first met, where like a woman dies so that a man can have a story.
Yes. Yes.
But anyways, yeah. So I don't really count Blue Eyes White Dragon as like being coded as a female character.
Okay.
But the protagonists of each like Yu-Gi-Oh series all have at least like one like girl quote unquote character
right
in their deck,
because it can't look too misogynistic.
Right, exactly. See,
like I have a girl.
Like, Yugi has Dark Magician Girl.
Yes.
Jaden in Yu-Gi-Oh GX has Burstinatrix, and what is her name? The little card shuffler girl. I don't know. She's a little magician.
Okay.
And then Yusei in 5Ds has Actually, let me check, because I remember I was talking about it in the Discord when I mentioned maybe doing this as an episode.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, so like all of the Yu-Gi-Oh protagonists have at least one like girl character in their deck, whereas most, if not like all, of the male characters in Yu-Gi-Oh do not have that.
Right. Okay.
So I'm arguing that like even just based on their decks, like as we understand them from the whole of the show, like, you know, girl characters have girl monsters and boy characters have boy monsters. The protagonists do not exclusively have like male or female oriented monsters.
Yes.
So basically they're all transgender, and I'm right. No, but really, because even the characters that do have, like the male, quote, characters that do have, like, female-oriented monsters, Weevil Underwood, he's got Insect Queen. There's that princess themed girl from one of the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX duels in the Society of Light arc, who has like these 3 frogs that she refers to as princes, because like a princess and the frog type thing. I think I said Pegasus, while I guess technically he could count because he does play Toon Dark Magician Girl at least once. But his deck is kind of just Toon versions of the monsters that the rest of the regular cast is playing.
Yes.
But yeah, so the protagonists do not have these like rigidly gendered decks, whereas most other characters in the show do. And
yes.
I would argue that like the creatures in a person's deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are like a reflection of them, like their beings, their souls, etc., etc. So it's very easy to tell when a Yu-Gi-Oh character is coded as like queer, generally.
Okay.
I have a couple of. I have like the Dark Magician Girl and the Toon Dark Magician Girl, which both show up in like original Yu-Gi-Oh! Like this Dark Magician Girl is the card that Yugi has.
Yes.
Toon Dark Magician Girl is the card that Pegasus has. There's also a character in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. In the English, his name is Jesse.
Okay.
In Japanese, his name is Johan, because he's like a foreign student that comes for a little while.
Okay.
And he has the Crystal Beasts, which I mentioned to you earlier.
Yes, you did.
Because they are pretty inherently gay. So we've got Crystal Beast Topaz Tiger. He's a little rock tiger.
Yeah, he's a little cat.
We got Crystal Beast Cobalt Eagle.
American.
We've got the gay ass horse. Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus.
Pegasus.
Yeah.
So
actually, Pegasus was the one that created these cards, and Johan won them.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. And like Crystal Beast Amber Mammoth, Crystal Beast Amethyst Cat. And so Amethyst Cat and Crystal Beast Ruby Carbuncle are both like quote unquote like girl coded. They're female oriented cards. They belong to a male character who
got them from Pegasus.
Yes. Who is also very very gay.
I was like fruity.
No, well, he had a wife. She died.
Just because you're married does not mean you're a little fruity inside.
Yeah, I was gonna say like he's at the very least extremely bisexual.
Yes.
But so this character, I forgot to mention Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon. The character who owns these cards,
yes,
gets physically trapped inside of Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon in the anime, and he has to be saved by none other than the protagonist, Jaden Yuki.
No way!
Jaden hops out of his own universe to move to the universe where Jesse is. So that, to like search for him.
Okay.
While all this is happening, I'm also going to bring in, I don't remember where I have them, but Ubel, they are the character that I have right on the cover here because for the viewers at home who can't see my binder, it says Raiden's Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and it's got Ubel, who is a monster spirit, technically. And Ubel is actually canonically, like, not of a binary gender.
Yes, okay.
So their voice actor in the English GX dub is like a woman. And they have like a feminine voice, but the pronouns that are used for Ubel are almost exclusively like the equivalent of he or they.
Okay.
And Ubel is probably not the healthiest example of like attachment, but Ubel's like in love with Jaden. Ubel takes over Jesse's body. And he gets real goth for a little while because, you know, when you get taken over by an evil spirit that wants to kill a dude that you've become very good friends with and also who's a little gay for you.
Yeah, you feel a lot of things.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry,
I got you,
I'm just thinking about them now.
No, you're fine.
But yeah, so like Crystal Blessing, Crystal Beacon, Rainbow Refraction, Crystal Conclave, Crystal Release, all of these are Jesse cards.
Yes.
For the Crystal Beast.
Very Jesse coded.
But yeah, so you know, real recognizes real, queer recognizes queer. Like I said, Ubel possesses Jesse and traps his spirit inside of the Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon.
Yes.
Well, I think technically while he's trapped, it's like the Dark Rainbow Dragon. Because there's also an evil version. There's also like the Dark Crystal Beasts. It's
okay.
all kinds of messy. But basically, they're all very gay. Sorry, I'm like thinking about them. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You keep going. I'm loving this.
But yeah,
You're thinking of
so,
him being gay.
Jaden and Jesse, like
Jaden and yeah.
That's
but were they like
a
mortal
big thing.
enemies beforehand? Not.
They were not.
They were not. Okay.
They were not.
So this is like a friends to lovers arc.
Yeah. So
okay.
they met because they can both see like a dual spirit. So Jesse has Ruby Carbuncle and Jaden has Winged Karibo.
Okay.
And nobody else can see these dual spirits. So Jaden's like, hey, wait, you can see that? And Jesse's like, yeah, I liked your Winged Karibo, buddy, pal. Love of my life.
They're soul tied.
They are, yeah.
Oh my god.
Fun fact, actually, in like Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, there are a number of lines that Seto Kaiba says relating to Atem, Yami Yugi, where he basically calls them like, you know, like Red String of Fate, like soulmates.
No way.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, it's unreal.
He was in love.
And like in the anime, they play it like, oh, he's in love with the woman he never met from like thousands of years ago who became the Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
Have your Twilight moment, Seto Kaiba.
Yeah, it's really funny, actually. Like, I wish women were treated better in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
It's my special interest, but I really...
Yeah, instead we've got... One of them's going blind. One of them is treated like she's like the femme fatale evildoer, and one of them is Taya.
Taya deserves to go and live her dream of going to like Juilliard in New York. Or
She's
whatever.
out here just trying to make sure.
She just wants to do her little dances. And
Yeah.
I think she should.
Yeah, and like obviously it's been a very long time since like I've sat down and like watched the episodes. I know like you and Amanda and I started it up recently, but I know like my brother and I watched it when we were kids, and I was like, why they got Taya doing nothing? I mean, granted, that first like section that I remember is mainly just like Joey and Yugi battling a lot. I'm not like, Tristan and Taya are just over here like,
Yeah.
you go, y'all.
Taya duels like 3 times. But also in like before Joey becomes like a great duelist, etc., because of Yugi's grandpa.
Yes.
Taya always beats Joey in duels.
Yes, I remember at least that one episode. She was like, and I beat you again, and he's like, God damn it.
Yeah, like, haha, Joey Wheeler, you suck balls at card games.
And now Yugi's grandpa, who is dead, question mark?
Dying? Well, oh my god, like when his soul gets trapped in like wherever, like by Pegasus. I almost said by Kaiba. By Pegasus, so that Yugi will duel in his stupid little battle island royale. Yeah.
Rip grandpa.
But like, anyways, queerness is like an explicit part of like the text in Yu-Gi-Oh. A lot of people don't like to acknowledge it. Because they're like, oh, you're making everything gay. Everything is not gay. Sometimes guys just have intense feelings about other guys and will follow them to the ends of the earth and also try to get them back from, you know, death. Because they want to duel them one last time.
Yeah, duel
and then
them.
make out on a cliff or something.
Yeah! Dude stuff!
But yeah, like, real thing that actually happened. Seto Kaiba tried to get Yami Yugi back from, like, the other side. Trademark.
Shut
symbol.
up. No way!
Yeah. Literally happened. Actually, like, really. And everyone was still like, yep. That's a straight man thing to do. That's a straight man.
That is a straight man thing to do for another straight man.
Yeah, you know.
So Kaiba had like, it was like unrequited. Yami was like, no.
Yeah.
You know what? Good on Yami.
Yeah.
Good on Yami to be oblivious and not see it, or just, you know, be too old, or be like, I don't know what being gay is, but.
Yeah. And like romance itself isn't like, it's not super prevalent in like any Yu-Gi-Oh series for the most part. Like, there's romances, and there's like implied romances and stuff, but also like in Yu-Gi-Oh GX, Asuka, or oh my god, why did I blanked on her name? Her name is Asuka in the Japanese version. But she's got a, like, weird crush thing on Jaden, like, the main character. And they get, quote, engaged once, like, by accident. There's a whole episode about this guy who's really good at tennis. And he wants to marry Asuka. And he's super weird and creepy about it. And so Jaden duels him so that, I guess, well, he duels him just because he wants to duel him, but the other guy's dueling because he's like, whoever wins this gets Asuka's hand in marriage. like you become her fiance.
We
and then,
love using
yeah.
marriage as leverage.
Yeah, and at the very end of the episode when Jaden wins, he's like, "So, what's a fiance?"
Shut up.
and she's like, "A fiance is a really good friend."
Shut up.
Yeah. So, like he's oblivious, yeah, but he's also just not. He's just not that into you.
Because otherwise
he is far more interested in
Jesse.
Yeah, like when you. Part of it is like the misogyny of shonen anime is just kind of inherent to the genre.
Yes.
But it's like Naruto. You get so misogynistic that it's just gay at that point.
Yes. Yes, as somebody who's watched some Naruto, not enough, but there's a reason why people ship Naruto and Sasuke so much.
Even like after their whole like marriage arc thing, it's like me when I bail on my wife and child because I want to hang out with this guy in a totally straight, married, straight, heterosexual man way.
Heterosexual burly man.
And also would have died for him many times.
And not in battle, just
generally.
It's Tuesday.
Just for funsies.
It's Tuesday. Somebody needs to die for this man. And
somebody's gotta die.
By hell, it's gonna be me.
By God, will it be me?
Okay, so I need to ask.
Okay.
Because you've said all of the protagonists are queer-coded in some way.
Right.
You mentioned them being trans.
Right.
Are there any monsters in particular that you would say, this one, trans. This Actually. Oh.
Actually.
Oh.
So I'm for those who can't hear me flipping through these pages, I'm flipping through my like Yu-Gi-Oh card binder, one of them, right now. There is Robo Lady, Robo Yarrow. And then if you fuse them, you get Super Robo Lady.
Super Robo Lady.
Super Robo Lady.
Not
very, very transgender. Just inherently.
Yes, because knowing misogyny, they could have put these two together and made Super Robo Yarrow. But they made Super Robo Lady. Trans.
Transgender.
They're trans.
I mean, like I said, Yubel, right here.
Yes.
This is Yubel, and Yubel becomes in the anime, not really in card game, becomes Yubel Terror Incarnate.
Okay.
Which is this like two-headed dragon looking thing.
Yes.
Very transgender.
Two heads.
And I mean, like I said, they use pronouns that would not be expected by like the English audience.
Visually lady. Pronounced he, they.
And also, you can't see it super well in the cards, but one pectoral, one boob.
No.
Yeah, like that's like real and canon, like extremely transgender.
Half top. She got a they got a 50%.
Yeah, I think they got half off their top surgery.
They said, we'll make this one a pec.
Truly.
And they said, but wait, can I keep one boob? And I said, yes, sir. Half off. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm also going to argue that the magic card Change of Heart is very inherently transgender.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Because I like duality. And I think that's pretty transgender.
Yes.
Let's see what else. Because, I don't actually know if I mentioned it on this podcast just now. Wait, no, actually, I don't. Oh, I would argue that like most of the like roid monsters.
Okay.
Like right here, I have Psychroid, Steamroid, Drillroid, Mixeroid, Ambulanceroid, Jetroid, Gyroid, Zimmeremeroid. I got Truckroid. I got Expressroid. I think they're all pretty transgender just by nature of being machines.
So, like, not Transformers, just trans.
Yeah.
Slay.
I think that most of like the Karibos are very inherently transgender.
Okay. Yes.
Right here I have like Winged Karibo, and I have Winged Karibo level 10 with transcendent wings that makes A become B.
Yes.
I don't know. There's just something very trans about a little guy becoming a bigger little guy.
Yeah.
With bigger wings.
Yeah. Does Winged Karibo level 10 have a braid? Oh, no, that's a dragon head.
That is a dragon, yeah.
Oh, I'm over here like, oh my god, do they have braids? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Also, Kaiba Man, that is literally Seto Kaiba.
Shut up. Seto Kaiba is his own card. What? Imagine being so cool that you have your own card. I don't even have my own card.
I wish I had my own card.
Right?
I could. But yeah, there are some, like, most of the familiar possessed cards, I would argue, are quite transgender. Mostly just because I like them.
That is such a valid reason.
And then, like, the cyber dragons, I feel, are very transgender, but that's also because I think that Zane Truesdale, Ryo Marufuji in the Japanese sub, I think that is a non-binary transgender lesbian, and I'm right.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah, I think, like, machine monsters, very transgender, in my humble opinion.
Okay. Yes.
I also think that most of the crystal beasts are non-binary because they're rocks.
Yes.
And I like rocks.
Yes.
And I'm transgender.
See, so this is why you're the expert. I could never sit here and go, that one's trans. I wouldn't know.
And then, like, oh my god, I don't know if I have any of the, like, extremely gender fusion monsters.
Okay.
Elemental Hero Rampart Blaster.
Uh-huh.
Very trans. That is a fusion of Elemental Hero Bubble Man. And,
I remember Bubble Man.
Yeah, and Elemental Hero Burstinatrix. So that is a boy girl if I've ever seen one.
Oh. That sure is.
And I think that Elemental Hero Clayman, I know that, like, man is in the name, but that's a non-binary guy.
Yes.
And then there's Neospatian Glowmoss.
Ooh.
Who is literally
Hello.
little blob.
Blob with leg.
Mm-hmm. And then there's also Elemental Hero Inferno, who is a fusion of Elemental Hero Lady Heat and Elemental Hero Heat.
Ooh.
While Lady Heat herself is very inherently transgender because she's called Lady Heat and the original one is just Elemental Hero Heat.
Yes.
For obvious reasons, that is a very transgender line
Yes.
to go in.
Yes.
But Elemental Hero Inferno is like a fusion of those two,
Yes.
which automatically makes it a boy-girl, i.e. automatically makes it very, very transgender.
Very trans. Very trans. I see it. You are cooking.
I am.
You're cooking.
And Hero Kid.
Hero Kid.
Hero Kid
Yes.
is very baby girl.
Nice.
Transgender. Yeah. I like them.
Yes.
I like the hero monsters. My hero monsters are in a separate binder from all of my other ones just because they're special. They're very special to me.
Yes.
Because Yu-Gi-Oh! GX was my main, like, fixation growing up and continues to be my main fixation. They're just very important to me.
Yeah.
Very important.
We all have that one property that's, like, super important. I'm so glad that, like, you know, because I feel like sometimes, like, as we get older, I don't want to say okay, you know what? I'm just going to say it. As we get older, I feel like we push our interests to the side because we're like, oh, but like,
we got to survive under capitalism.
I'm
23
now, so it's not cool to like video games or anime or.
I need to like Succession and
I need to like
Once Upon a Time.
I
don't know.
No offense. No offense.
No, you're right. I was thinking of any like.
I was gonna say The Office. So.
Oh, see, you know, we went two separate directions.
Yeah, I was gonna go The Office,
yeah,
but
when you get older, you're kind of just expected to not like the things that you liked as a child, which.
Yes.
And maybe that's why so many like adults view children's media as something to grow out of, not to like grow with.
Yes.
Which sucks. I hate it.
Yeah.
There's some really, really good like children's media out there, and it's getting better. I mean, you know, there's stuff like The Owl House. There's even like Bluey.
Yeah.
There are
Bluey's fantastic.
There's so many like adult fans of Bluey because they're seeing that this piece of children's media is something that's teaching children, and it's, I don't know, it's good. It's good to see recognition for a piece of children's media, because I firmly believe that good children's media, quote, children's media can be enjoyed by any age group.
Yeah.
Like if a parent is watching like a show with a child and they can enjoy it, that's good.
Yeah. Because that's important too, because like you're essentially like your children's media, the things that your kids are watching, I mean, as a non-parent to me, the things your kids are watching, most of the time, you will be watching as well. So in some ways, like, yeah, are you going to enjoy Fanboy and Chum Chum? No, probably not.
Maybe
you are, and that's great. And I love that for anybody who enjoys Fanboy and Chum Chum. But I do feel that we're kind of migrating to an age kind of back to where instead of fully like honing in on what are the kids going to enjoy, is this going to be like a family experience, and are the parents of these kids going to enjoy what their kids are indulging in as well? Can parents be engaged with what their kids are watching as well, or are we just servicing the children?
Yeah.
Which is, I think, another big reason why Bluey is such a huge success. To me, it kind of reminds me of the like the Mr. Rogers, like why people love Mr. Rogers is because, I mean, even to this day, like sometimes I'll throw on Mr. Rogers and I'm still learning something from that, whether to be compassionate to other people or be patient with people that aren't similar to you, or blah, 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 blah. There's always a lesson to be learned, and there's always something to enjoy. So that's it. Just, so when you were talking about this, I was like, I want to know like why you enjoy it. This isn't something that I grasped onto as a child. My brother did, but like I love hearing like why people love the things they do. So I really appreciate you so much like coming and sharing this with me and being comfortable sharing it with me and with people that you don't know. So thank you. Which actually, speaking of sharing things that we don't know much about, hi guys, thank you so much for joining the 19th inaugural episode of the Between the Fridges podcast. Raiden, I would like to give you the floor at the moment. Is there anything that either you can share, like social media links if you have any, you can share your wonderful words of wisdom, anything you'd like, the floor is yours.
So I have an Instagram and a Twitter and a Tumblr.
Yes.
I try to post pretty frequently. I'm mainly like a visual artist. I do illustration. I also have a TikTok. where I
Amazing.
post drawings and cosplay and stuff.
Yeah.
And all of them, except for my Twitter, are under Space Rays. That's SPACERAES. And then my Twitter is Space Rays Stuck. So that SPACERAESTUCK. Yeah, so that's what I'm on.
Yes.
I try to not be on like all the time.
Valid.
I like to go outside.
Call out. I'm kidding. You're valid.
But yeah, I post like my art. I sometimes post about Yu-Gi-Oh. Often post about Yu-Gi-Oh. In fact.
Amazing.
But yeah, that's pretty much all of my medias.
And then anything else you would like to share before I start closing it out?
I would like to say that I would like to give all transgender people a kiss on the face and $300.
You hear that, transgenders? You hear that, transgenders? You're going to get $300.
One day, eventually.
Eventually.
when I start getting big on my Yu-Gi-Oh takes.
Yeah. So you better be following the social medias and get them big so you can get that $300.
I feel like $300 isn't enough for what trans people are going through right now.
100%. But you know what? It's a contribution.
I would like $300 for being transgender. But instead, the government is doing not that.
Nothing.
But that's fine. That's fine. Everything's cool.
Everything's amazing.
And good.
And perfect. We love America on this podcast. Carly, put an eagle in the edit here. Amazing. Thank you. So again,
Actually, I feel like eagles sound more like
so again, thank you guys for joining us today. If you have not already, please follow our Instagram at Between the Fridges. If you have a fun fan fiction to share, now that we've talked about Yu-Gi-Oh, you have so many more options of fun and grotesque fan fictions to send for me to read to Amanda live and in stereo on the podcast. Feel free to send that to betweenthefridges@gmail.com. And finally, if you have not already, please review our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you give us a good review, we will shout you out on the podcast and read your review live and in stereo. So if you'd like to be super famous on the last podcast in the history of the world, feel free to write your review. And again, for one last time, thank you very much for joining this podcast this week and every week. My name is Carly.
My name is Raiden.
Amanda's going to be here next week. Cross our fingers. And we'll see you then.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See, you know exactly how to do all of this. Do you watch a lot of content creators?
No, I do not.
No? You learned from the best then. From the two
I
that you
stopped
do.
watching YouTube in like 2015.
Who's the last YouTuber you watched?
Dan is not on fire.
You learned from Dan is Not on Fire. See, that's all you need to watch.